So here's this cute little guinea pig, and we're going to practice painting some fur on him. So we need to mix up the colors that you're going to start with first. So in your palette, here's an example of what I could see in the photo of the guinea pig, and I used these different neutral browns. Some of them I mixed together, some of them I lightened. Just kind of looking for colors in there. So what you want to do first is add a little bit of water to your paint mixture, because if it's too thick, it's going to blob together and you won't get what we call the dry brush effect. After you mix it, make sure you wipe it thoroughly. And then you can even try to spread the bristles just a little bit. And then very, very gently and lightly dip it into the watered down paint mixture. And then you're going to start with what we call little hatching marks. What you want to practice is the pressure of the brush against the canvas or the paper. And that pressure is going to affect if the paint blobs together or if you get that hairy kind of separation. Now, you start with a layer of something that's a little more contrasty, like the light over the dark. Try to cross over just a little bit over that dividing line between the brownish color and the white. And then you're going to use colors in between to add a little bit more into the fur and give it just some blending texture. Again, sometimes it helps with the dry brush effect to separate those bristles, because look what happens when the paint's kind of blobby. So make sure also that if it's too wet, just lean the brush against the paper towel, let it soak up the water, but also let it keep the paint in the bristles. You can even use objects to separate them instead of your fingers. And then just test out your brush stroke before you apply it to the canvas. And this is a really light, pressured flicking motion that I'm using. So really and truly, this just takes some practice, and you're just going to have to do a little bit of experimenting. And then as soon as you feel like you got the hang of it, you can go right into your own animal. So now you notice maybe that I am adding even more different brown tones, getting a little bit darker. And then be careful, because look what happens when you don't have enough water. There's an example of it getting a little too thick. However, you can also go right into those blobs with a darker color and kind of blend them out with like a feathering or a flicking motion of your brush. And again, it's really important to practice the pressure, because that's going to affect the wispiness of your dry brush. So now you're going to notice that I'm adding a little bit of fur texture to the lighter parts up top, and then I'm going to try and blend out that line that you see in between the dark brown base and the white base. So I'm using kind of like a little bit of a yellowy tone. Same thing with the brush pressure, keep it light. And you can also start to add just a little bit more of that middle brown that will cause a shadow on the white fur. And you will see the buildup here as you go over it a couple of times. Don't forget that you can also let a layer or two dry and then go back over it again. You're gonna notice that the more times you cover your layers with dry brush strokes and build up those different colors, you are going to like the end results more and more. So give it a chance, layer, dry, layer again. And then you can also see how I go in between with a little light again. So acrylic is really forgiving. You can continuously go back and forth with those colors. And then I'll show you just a close-up here of what those look like. So that goal was to cover the line in the middle, and after about 3 layers, I'm kind of getting there.